I love buying tools because to me, a tool is often a lifetime purchase. I have this knife that I got from my grandpa, for example, still use it every day in my workshop. When I bought this set of Park Tool hex wrenches, I figured I'll never have to buy another set of hex wrenches. In fact, when my grandkids are riding around on their e-hover bikes with their fusion reactors, they're gonna use these same hex wrenches to fix their flux capacitors. Oftentimes the tools we use most are not the ones in our shop, but the ones we have in our pockets. And that's why multi-tools are so interesting. On the bench here I have 5 from Jenson USA. We have the Crankbrothers M19. We have the Lezyne Rap II. We have the Park Tool MTC30. The Wolf Tooth 8-bit kit, and the OneUp EDC tool. Whereas traditional shop tools are often only made by a few brands, and those brands pretty much make only tools, like Park Tool, for example. It feels like a ton of different companies make multi-tools, and this often leads to a huge amount of variety, which I think is super cool and super fun. Today we're gonna take a quick look at all 5 of these tools, and I'm not gonna go over every feature, but I'm gonna go over the ones that aren't necessarily obvious. Right out of the gate, I do have to give props to Wolf Tooth for the cardboard packaging. This little tray is perfect, no plastic required. So I'm gonna start off with the 3 more traditional multi-tools, and then move on to the ones that have some quirks, innovations, interesting features that you don't normally see. So first we have this Crankbrothers M19, 19 being the number of tools that are on the multi-tool. I've personally been carrying this M10 for the last 3 years in my pocket. They're both quite heavy. Obviously the 19 is a bit heavier than the 10, but very, very durable. In fact, some of the most durable multi-tools I've gotten to use. I have a little test I do that kind of gives me a pass-fail on multi-tool durability, which I'll get to later, but the Crankbrothers passes with flying colors. Now, along with all the sizes of Allen wrenches that you'd expect, the M19 also has 2 different size Phillips head drivers, 2 different Torx drivers, a T10 and a T25, and they've got a really good chain tool on here. And if you unthread the chain tool, these slots here work as spoke wrenches. You have 0, 1, 2, and 3 gauge spoke wrenches. And then these slots in the chain tool function as 8 and 10 millimeter wrenches. Next up, we've got the Lezyne Rap, which is a very similar form factor to our Crankbrothers M19. The Rap has this nice little high quality silicone band on here to keep the chain tool from flopping around, which is a nice feature because I do know that over time, these loosen up a little bit. And if you don't thread it in tight, it will kind of flop around and flop open in your pocket. So the Lezyne uses this silicone band on here to kind of hold everything in place in your pocket versus Crankbrothers, which offers what they call this tool flask. It's aluminum with plastic caps on the end, and the tool slides in. Once you put the other plastic cap in, it does not rattle at all. Okay, so the Lezyne Rap, very similar tool set to the Crankbros with all the Allen wrenches you'd expect. Just 1 Phillips screwdriver, but it does have the T10, T25, and it's got the spoke wrenches on the chain tool, similar to Crankbros, the 8 and 10 millimeter open-ended wrenches. This also offers quick link storage on the sides. You can put half a quick link on each side, a little magnet to hold it in place, which is a pretty nice touch to have an extra quick link in your pocket. Next up, we have the MTC30 from Park Tool. This is an interesting tool. The MTC30 again has all the Allen wrenches you'd expect. Now, they do accomplish the 8 millimeter wrench by putting a sleeve on the 6. I'm going to lose this immediately. It's gone. Like the first time I go out on a ride, this is gone. So keep in mind that you have to be a little bit careful with this little. Interestingly, the Park Tool also has an 8 millimeter and a 15 millimeter box end wrench on their tool. I think this would be very useful if you ride BMX. If I remember correctly, front axles are 15 millimeter. I could be wrong there. Only if you don't have pegs, of course. I don't think I've ever seen any other multi-tool with a 15 millimeter wrench on it. Next up, we have the Wolf Tooth 8-bit tool. There is so much to talk about here. I find this form factor absolutely fascinating. I mean, it's completely different than anything else out there, and I love them for that. I don't think it's the most practical tool for daily riding, but if you want literally an entire toolbox to put in your pack or your pocket, I think this is the tool for you. These all clip together magnetically into a stack, and they have these detents on them that keep them from sliding off one another. The magnetic stacking bit is super satisfying, and it works really well. So the basics with how this tool works is that the bits you need are stored inside here. They're all magnetically stashed, and you can pull them out, and they go inside the 8 millimeter here. So you can use it like a driver, or you can turn it, and you can actually get quite a bit of leverage. These are great, but the downside is they are fairly easy to lose. If you drop them on the trail, you might be out of luck. This multi-tool's got a quick link plier, which is super handy to have. Quick link storage right underneath that. The other side with the chain tool has got your tire repair, bacon strips in here, and it's got the bacon strip insertion tool. The back of the bacon strip insertion tool has the proper size wrench to operate your chain tool. And this side also has a nice little blade with a spare blade inside. Now the OneUp EDC is unique among these tools because it's the only one that's designed to be attached to your bike or put inside your bike for storage. I'm going to show you how that works right now. So this little EDC tool is designed specifically to go in this holder and then slide down into your head tube. One way to do that is with this special hollow top cap. You thread your fork with a special tap. This guy here goes in the bottom of the steer tube. It works very well. It's very discreet. It's always with the bike that you're riding, but you do have to thread your fork, and to me that was a downside I didn't like. So there's a second option for mounting this EDC tool on the bike. It's a little bit more convenient, and it's this special top cap. The tool itself has a little clip that allows it to fit down in this top cap, and then you take off the regular top cap on your bike, push your star nut down in deeper, and this guy here becomes your top cap. It sits right there, OneUp EDC, slides in and out. It's very compact, very convenient, can easily go on almost any bike. Now the third and my personal favorite way to store the EDC tool is inside the EDC pump. Let's check this thing out. Now the EDC pump can easily stash, as you saw, inside a frame storage bag. There's also tons of aftermarket options for holding these things on your frame, depending upon what works for you. I love this pump. It comes in two sizes, the 100cc, which is this one, and then a 70cc version, which is shorter. There's a lot going on in this. Obviously, you've got your pressed inflator here. Now, in the other end of the machined aluminum body is where you store your EDC kit. The EDC multi-tool itself is in here. This bit here, that unclips and becomes your chain tool. Then down here, you have a little storage compartment. I've personally modified mine to fit my stand's dart tool. So if I get a flat I need to plug, I can use the dart tool. You can take a CO2 cartridge with a threaded top, stash that here, and this assembly all fits in the pump. You can take the pressed head out of this pump, then you grab your CO2 cartridge, which is kind of nice because the CO2 will get you most of the way there, and then you can top it up with the pump. Now the tool itself has a couple of hidden features you might not know about. On the side of the flathead screwdriver bit are these two little nubs, and those are spaced to drive the OneUp top cap. Additionally, if you place the 5mm next to the flathead, this actually turns into an 8mm driver. We'll test that out shortly here. So next up, we're gonna do a little experiment that I like to call the pedal test. Now the reason for this is that all these tools have an 8mm hex on them, and the most common use for an 8mm hex on a bike is taking your pedals on and off. Pedals require a lot of force, so I figure if the multi-tools can hold up to taking a pedal on and off, they're pretty strong. The Park Tool website states the proper torque for a pedal is about 40 Newton meters. So I'm gonna install this pedal with a bit of grease, torque it down to 40 Newton meters, and we're gonna see which of the multi-tools, maybe all of them, can get it out. Oh my God, that's insane. So even though it broke, I think I still have to conclude that the EDC is my new go-to tool, my favorite of the bunch, for exactly its namesake, everyday carry, because it's so small and light and compact. And yes, I snapped it trying to remove a pedal, but as many of you are probably thinking, like, how often do you try to remove a pedal with a multi-tool on the side of the trail? The answer is not very often. This little kit has basically everything I need. I can put it in my frame or on my frame and I don't have to carry a pack. That being said, multi-tools can be used for a lot of different things. They can be on your workbench, they can be in your car, they can be permanently stashed in your saddlebags. So don't limit yourself to just one. They're not a very expensive investment. And as far as upgrades for your shop go, multi-tools in general are extremely affordable. So don't take my word for it. Try out a few different kinds and see what you like.